tell you when, but you better know I'm going to get you niggas.
Nigga, this the war cry. Calling all tribes, hit the front line. Now and never, arrows up, let's fight. Wild Indians, yeah, it's war time. Tribe up, nigga, this is war cry. Calling all tribes, hit the front line. Now and never, arrows up, let's fight. Wild Indians, yeah, it's war time. Tribe up, nigga, this is war cry. Calling all tribes, hit the front line. Now and never, arrows up, let's fight. Wild Indians, yeah, it's war time. Tribe up, nigga, this is war cry. Calling all tribes, hit the front line. Now and never, arrows up, let's fight. Wild Indians, yeah, it's war time. Tribe up, nigga, this the war cry. Calling all tribes, hit the front line. Now and never, arrows up, let's fight. Wild Indians, yeah, it's war time.
That's right.
Chill. I thought you was on positivity. I thought it was about cornbread. Is this part of Operation Corn? You 60 years old, grandma. Calm down, man. You ain't gonna hurt nobody.
Man, it's your boy Wild Indian. This is Tribebiz. I'm gonna give people time enough to get in, man. The pack is back. I got no other than your boy Tomahawk Tony with me. I'm talking about real fucking partner in crime type shit. I'm talking about it's going down. We about to bring another one to you. Go ahead, tell everybody to pull up. So we're gonna let this intro play one more time, and then we're gonna be better to jam out. Let everybody get in. We starting a little early, so you know we want everybody to get in tune.
I'm going to get you niggas. When I tell you, I'm not going to tell you when, but you better know I'm going to get you niggas.
Nigga, this the war cry. Calling all tribes, hit the front line. Now and never, arrows up, let's fight. Wild Indians, yeah, it's war time. Tribe up, nigga, this is war cry. Calling all tribes, hit the front line. Now and never, arrows up, let's fight. Wild Indians, yeah, it's war time. Tribe up, nigga, this the war cry. Calling all tribes, hit the front line. Now and never, arrows up, let's fight. Wild Indians, yeah, it's war time. Tribe up, nigga, this is war cry. Calling all tribes, hit the front line. Now and never, arrows up, let's fight. Wild Indians, yeah, it's war time. Tribe up, nigga, this the war cry. Calling all tribes, hit the front line. Now and never, arrows up, let's fight. Wild Indians, yeah, it's war time.
Like, grandma, chill. I thought you was on positivity. I thought it was about cornbread. Is this part of Operation Corn? You 60 years old, grandma. Calm down, man. You ain't gonna hurt nobody.
Man. If everybody can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. Tom, can you hear me? I want to hear you loud and clear.
Good. Yeah, your audio good. Yep.
Do a mic check real quick. I would like for everybody to put a 1 in the chat if they can hear me. It's going down. I know it'll grow as it go. So we're gonna do our thing, man. We know we the most shadow banned, but everybody's using this information that we are putting out and presenting to the people. So we're gonna continue on to present this information to the people. And the pack will be starting where we left off. Where we left off was Spaniard colonization, was the circus, and how educational programming went into programming the people. You know what I'm saying? We went into Asian colonization, being brought and led into the country by Spaniards. You know what I'm saying? And we still asking the same question. Where are these Spaniards? Where are these Asians that were in the country? So now we're still dealing with the Native Americans. And tonight we will be going into some things that you never heard before. So bring your blunts out, get you a couple shots, and let's get into this education. I want to welcome Tomahawk Tony, and he gonna start us out on this.
Yeah, it was good. As always, much appreciation, American people. Imagine everybody healthy, a Wild Indian salute. You already know. Man, say when. Let's get into it.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna be starting right here on this Asian slave. So I guess we can start from we gonna start from coming from Asia, right? Where this says Asian slaves in colonial Mexico. We're gonna start coming from Asia into Mexico, then the problems that this shit caused in America. So right now, I want to touch a little bit on this book right here. I would like for you to go into this, and I would like to hear about how did these Asians come about and what years did they get here and how did they get here into the Americans?
Oh yeah. So all right, so this is what it is. I'm going to pull up this image right quick. You know what I mean? Some of y'all might already seen this before. You know, or you'll put this over in the books and things of this nature. But let me go to pull it up real quick. So, you know, we got people, they always talking about the transatlantic slave trade, you know, dealing with the Africans and all of that, which is pretty much a myth. You know what I'm saying? In regards to the numbers, you know, we got a lot of people in recent years, they've really been breaking that down. So shout out to the good people that have been breaking down that information on that note. But at the same time, we got to keep in mind on the East Coast, right? You know, they was bringing slaves directly over from Europe. So those so-called Africans, they was really Moors and exiled Hebrews straight out of Europe, what we would call today Negropeans. All right, now, as you see on this map right here, this is focused on the West Coast, the Pacific the Transpacific slave trade, if you will. And so as we see right here, you know, as this map is showing, Manila, that's the Philippines today, right? And so anyway, they was trafficking or collecting, if you will, slaves from throughout Europe. Pardon me, Asia here. All of this over there in Asia, various breeds. So, you know, you got the Hindus, you know, Kamala Harris type people, right? You know, even Marcus Garvey type people. They was them Hindus, you know what I'm saying? And this is the route in which they was brought over here, along with the Chinese, Japanese, took Cambodians, Mongoloids, the whole nine. You had every breed of Asian. Then and during these times, they was known as Orientals. All right. All of this right here was the Orient. Okay. And yeah, so we pretty much looking at pretty much the 17th century. You know what I mean? When this traffic really was picking up. You know, and they flooded the entire West Coast, going into Central and South America as well as the Caribbean, as this map is showing. You know what I mean? And then at the same time, they was also transporting them back and forth between Europe as well. All right. So yeah, hey, Wilder, you said you had another question about that, or
okay? My thing is, you know, can we point out what time frame this was? And one more thing, when we talking about the time frame, are we talking about when the Arabic world, which is right there, which I'm seeing on this map, which is more connected to Asia and the Europe world than it is Africa? But that Arab world, they were at war with the Arab world at this time, right? The actual Europeans.
To a degree, to an extent, because you know, there's always been long relationships between the Arabs or Arabs, you know, the Orientals, and the Europeans. They've always been in commercial contact with each other. You know what I'm saying? Certainly there was conflicts and all of that, but you know, is not to the extent that, you know, they would lead us to believe. You know what I'm saying? Just like today, right? You know, there's conflicts right now, but it ain't stopping the money moving over there, right?
That's a fact.
They still don't. I mean, you know, we got people still taking trips to Dubai. You got Asians still going to Dubai. You know what I'm saying? And investing in various things. I mean, yo, Afghanistan is in Asia, right? Yo, they just dropped off like $1 billion worth of U.S. equipment over there, right?
Shit, they just dropped them all off over here before COVID, if we all can remember that.
Exactly. So, you know, these are ancient relationships between the Europeans, the Orientals, the Arabs, so on and so forth. These people, they've been doing business. And, you know, they got old agreements. And you talking about actual bloodline relationships, you know, once again, the Caucasian, right? You know what I mean? Because the Arab is also a Caucasian, all right? Even though they are of a particular, you know, branch of Caucasian, but they're still that, though. And Caucasian, you know, you got the Caucasus Mountains, which unites all of them. The Caucasus Mountains is right in the middle of all of that, between Europe and Saudi Arabia and all of that. Yeah, that's the Caucasus Mountains region.
Palestine, all of that shit.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Okay. These are ancient bloodlines.
Okay, so when we talking about this slave trade, because I just want to be, you know, when we talking about the Trans-Pacific slave trade, we're talking about various countries who are involved, and the Spaniards being one of the most vicious, from my understanding. to the text that I read and the things that I'm understanding about the Spaniards being one of the most vicious slave trading at this time. And when we're talking about the Trans-Pacific slave trade, we're talking about 85% of the cargo was Asians. We're talking about a large percentage of the cargo of the Trans-Pacific slave trade. The Trans-Pacific. Let's get out of the transatlantic, where they told you all Africans, where they told you 90 to 100% of the Trans-Pacific slave trade was African people. Okay, let's get off that. 90 or 85%, I would say, and I would say that based on what I done read out of this, 85% of these slaves or laborers, like they like to call them when they're in America, these laborers were Asians from various Asian countries. And I like to say Caucasus Mountain in Asia. Caucasians are what they are once they got here in America. But yeah, I would want to go into the place that this Manila galleon, because I see a boat, you know, on there. And
Yeah,
I would like to.
Yeah, I'm putting links in the chat also, so you can share that, you know, copy and paste that to the chat as well, so you know they can continue to research. But yeah, this is a model of one of those boats. These boats are like actually documented, like when you actually know the boat types that was being used for the transport of this cargo, if you will, or these people, so on and so forth. The name of this boat was literally called the Manila Galleon. All right, and so anyway. This here's another map. This map isn't very clear, right? Where we at? Let me pull up this. Yeah, so this link that I just dropped in there. So this says stops along the Manila Galleon trade route, right? And so it's talking about when Miguel Lopez de Legazpi or whatever expedition departed Mexico in 1564. So that's the 16th century, with 4 ships across the Pacific to claim Guatemala and the Philippines for King Philip II of Spain. Only 1 ship will return homeward from Manila, the San Pablo. That was the name that they was naming their ship. So they named that ship in particular the San Pablo. All right. So without getting all of this, you know what I mean? It's a lot to read right there. Basically, you know, this is describing all of the ships, like the trade routes, you know what I'm saying, where he was picking people up at, so on and so forth, right? And so it's saying here, while the westward passage across the Pacific from Acapulco was generally considered easy, the difficulties traveling eastward on the return began with the simple leaving of Manila. The eastern route took the ship from Manila to the waters off Taiwan and Japan, then across to California and down the coast of Acapulco. Galleons had to pass the Strait of San Bernardino, usually in June, since it was considered the best time of year. All right. So they saying here at the passage out of the Philippine archipelago could take 2 to 4 weeks to clear before reaching the open sea. So they had a hell of a boat ride, but they mapped it out to where it was easy for them. They knew the best times to travel, and they was hitting California hard. Same thing they doing right now. They hitting California hard right now.
That's a fact. Mexico, they on the borders of Mexico. Hawaii has been taken over by Filipinos, and these people are misplaced, and they're here claiming to be indigenous. So we just want to make sure that the story is being told correctly, man, because it's not fair for someone to look at me and, yeah, this is African, and I got to argue with my own people about certain colonizations and how it didn't happen, or it's some holes in it, opposed to what really happened here on the Manila Galleon, bringing Asians here via Spaniard conquest in the Trans-Pacific slave trade. There's no holes in it. This is not a 5-month trip. As you can see, this trip is shorter than the trip that they saying, you know, we were going through. You know what I'm saying? Coming from here to here. They were getting here in no time and stopping in Hawaii on breaks. You know what I'm saying? Before they take flight into Mexico and back again continuously. So we want to let you know that this is an Asian, 85%. I'm telling you, look, do the history. This is an Asian slave trade that went on via here in America, and we're going to go all the way up into the 1800s. Like he's telling you now, this is late 1500s. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? early 1600s. This is where this shit is at. So we going on from here, from the Manila galleon, leaving a town in the Philippines called the Manila. If you look in the town in the Philippines right now, it's a big town in the Philippines, a city called the Manila.
That's
and this
right.
is where the Manila plant comes from to make the Manila galleon for the Spaniards to bring Asians into Mexico. So we're talking about Asian colonization via Spaniard transportation.
Yeah, I'm gonna
That's
drop the link to this book also. Asian Slaves of Colonial Mexico, right? I'm gonna drop the link to that book. Yo, definitely recommend people get into that. I got a video also. History Reels on History Reel channel. Check out History Reel on Instagram as well as on YouTube. Real good people's right there. Let me see if I can find the book, yo. Where this book at? Hold up. Yeah, let me just move that real quick. Hold up. Yeah, so let me see. Yeah, here you go right here. This is Amazon link right here. Yeah, go to drop that in there. Y'all can get it on Amazon. Might be able to get a digital version too, you know. But definitely great reading it. This book is literally telling you how, you know, these Asians, all right, if the Asians agreed to be vassals of Spain, a vassal is another term for slave, right? If they agreed to be vassals for Spain, then they would allow them to have the quote unquote indigenous title here in the Americas. This is documented history here. And this is why we experience the problems that we have with these pale skinned foreigners and all of that that's claiming to be indigenous and native and blah, blah, blah. They agreed to be slaves. They agreed to serve the purpose of Spanish interest. You know what I'm saying? This is why you have yet to hear any quote unquote Native American speak against illegal immigration, right? That's interesting, ain't it? Because that's their brothers and sisters, right?
And they say that. And they say that. On a constant, they say that. They say this is like they say that they ancient people as well, but we're gonna prove you otherwise. We're gonna prove this to be false things that they are saying. And like I said, just hold on, because this is about to, man, let everybody know, come check in. This is about to be historical right here. This is the fight right here. You steady got problems with these Native Americans lying, don't know where they came from. We have already put the circus information out, and the pack is having a reunion right now. And we putting out some information that has not been touched on. And I guarantee you, when we get to it, it has not been touched on. But we want to make sure we taking our time and breaking it down step by step so everybody can understand what's happening here in America in these times.
Absolutely. Yeah, so hey, let me know if you can hear this audio. Because I might gotta switch it over to this particular tab, right? But let me know if you can hear the audio of this video. I'm running it right now. Let me know. Yo, the audio's good.
I see the video, but I don't hear nothing yet.
Okay, yeah, let me switch it over. Hold on 1 second. Let me switch it over. Hold up. Stop the screen, run it back. 1 second. Yeah.
Man, there's gonna be some deep stuff. Telling y'all. Stay tuned, man. It's about to get deep in there. Get everybody, ground them up. Let's do it again like we used to. Pack, baby. Pan-Africanism killer. Y'all know what time it is.
Yeah, so this is a 30-minute video. We're not gonna go through the whole video. Let me go and put the link in the chat as well. So y'all can follow along, y'all can follow up if you will. There's some other references as well on the subject as you see here. Hold on, where's it at? Yeah, we over here. Yeah, so I'm going to continue with the video.
Went to depth about how Chinos became reclassified as Indians or indigenous people. Moreover, while indigenous people were reclassified as African and Negroes, Chino slaves were allowed to obtain an indigenous identity and status. The main source of information used for this discussion will be from the book Asian Slaves in Colonial Mexico, From Chinos to Indians by Tatiana Sayas. What's interesting here is that the subject of Asian slaves in Spanish America is not discussed or widely known. In fact, in Tatiana Sayas' book, she states that her book is the first that traces Chino origins in Asia. My goal.
Let me pause it right there too. So understand, right? So for the Spanish, they literally classified everybody. So for our American people, the Spanish, they called us Indios. And that was a masculine term. But for our American women, they called them India. All right. Now continuing in regards to these foreigners, right? As you just heard, and as you see, Chino comes from China. All right. So Chino, that's a male Chinese person, right? And a China, all right, that's a female Chinese person. But at the same time, though, anybody that they brought from over there, they will call them Chinos. But they also had other categories based on when these people was mixed up with other ethnicities, other ethnic groups and all of that. So we can continue though.
In this particular episode.
Yo, what happened?
I say we damn near talking about Chicanos.
Oh, same, exactly. It's all related. Absolutely. Chicanos and Chicana, right? Same thing. Yep, let's continue.
So it's to touch on key points which is not readily known to the public. All right. After parts of Asia were conquered by the Spanish crown, Asian people were put into slavery on their own land and later on shipped to places such as Mexico, Peru, and Chile. In other words, they were shipped to Spanish-controlled colonies in America. Now, this is a quote from the book, Asian Slaves in Colonial Mexico. Quote, "The foundation of the Spanish Philippines gave rise to the Transpacific slave trade. Manila became the colonial outpost in Asia where slaves were purchased, and the Manila galleon ships afforded transport to Mexico. Manila was a slave society during the 17th century. Slaves did the majority of the labor, and master-slave relations shaped the general social order. Within years after the Spanish conquest, the bustling port city had some 40,000 residents of diverse origins. A full quarter of this population was enslaved. They were craftspeople, manual laborers, and servants who upheld their master's social structure. By the 1620s, the city had 8,000 indigenous slaves and 2,000 foreign slaves, in addition to an untold number of Muslim slaves. You
hear that?
Definitely. And that's why I wondered, man, we're going to get into it, but there's some things that I got to ask about that, but definitely I hear that.
That's a bet. All right, let's continue.
The whole of the city was a slave market, supplying labor to Spanish colonists and indigenous elites. Slave auctions were held in the plazas found within the city walls, and masters also sold slaves through individual transactions. The unorganized nature of the market makes it nearly impossible to quantify the volume of slaves, but it is clear that Manila was an emporium for slaves. Masters from throughout the Philippines knew to come to the capital to secure chattel property.
All right, so what you just heard right there, once again, this is the 16th century that we're talking about, and it was going on forward. So basically, throughout Asia and in very specific parts of Asia, as being referenced here, Manila, which is what's called the Philippines right now, right? It was an epicenter for slave markets, similar to Morocco, all right, between Europe and pretty much for Europe and Africa and the Middle East, all the Persian countries and all of that, or the Arab countries. Morocco was the epicenter for the slave market, where you can go there, you can get any type of slave you want. Pale skins, Africans, so on and so forth. And so this was the equivalent in Asia. All right. Manila. And like you just heard, the woman speaking here, right? She literally just said, according to this book here, Asian Slaves, Colonial America, right? Over there, the indigenous people, the elite indigenous people of Asia, these people were selling their own people. Same thing with the Europeans. They were selling their own people. Same thing with the Arabs selling their own people. Same thing with the Africans. To this day, all of these groups, they still sell their own people, enslave their own people, and their slaves reinforce that. What's the terminology for that? This structure. It's a system. The slaves support the slave system. This is of their culture. So yeah, once again, we're not going to play the entire video. Let me see what else History has in this one. Let me fast forward a little bit, see what's going on. Yeah, here we go. Let's see what this is about.
It says, quote, the Spanish government instituted the same forms of labor organization in the Philippines as in the American colonies, first allowing colonists to have encomiendas and then pushing for reform with the Reclassification system. Under encomiendas, a Spaniard was allotted a group of Indians who owed him personal service. Repartimiento was a crown control system that required Indians to work for nominal pay. Okay, so I use that quote just to show how what happened in the Philippines and the Americas, they operated under the same types of system, which was
that's right. That's right.
The Kapamapagans, you understand what I'm saying? Excuse me for the mispronunciation. The Kapamangans were allowed to go to war against their natural enemies, enslave them, and make them work in the rice cultivation.
You see? So these are the tactics that the Spanish applied, right? Similar to what we have going on today where, we got people setting each other up to get locked up. Incarceration is another form of slavery, right? So anyway, these are systems in which the Europeans, in particular the Spanish and the Portuguese, they was applying in Asia, and then at the same time they brought that over here. Basically, they was perfecting these systems of slavery here in the Americas. You know what I'm saying? And these systems were all foreign to us as they are to this very day. All of this, everything we see going on around us, we like, yo, what is this? How is it you're giving these people these privileges to live for free in luxury 5-star hotels, and the homeless people that's here, they're just being forgotten about, ignored. But meanwhile, these other people, though, they get to live good, huh? It's foreign. It's strange. It doesn't make sense to us, but to them, it makes perfect sense. Yo, Wild Indian, everything good?
Everything good.
Cool.
I'm in tune, man.
All right.
I'm gonna get this work.
End quote. So later on, Negritos.
Yeah. So here we go. Now, now they talking about these Negritos, right? Let me explain something to you, right? Yeah. See, people, these black fanatics, right? They want to say things like, oh, indigenous to the world, and this, that, and the other. Yo, we don't have the same culture or customs as these foreigners. You know what I'm saying? These people, they come from a culture of being abusive to their own. They treat their women differently. They eat differently. They behave differently, the whole nine. Then on top of that, fast forward today, a lot of these people, they bleach their skin willingly, knowing that they're going to get cancer. We don't do this. Our American people don't engage in that type of behavior. So all that Negrito, we all black people in Asia, that ain't got nothing to do with us, because for one, we not black. These are all foreign terminologies. Negrito, that pertains to them. Let's continue though.
Were reclassified as Negroes and lost their indigenous status and became Negro slaves. Now there are other words that they say that the Negritos, they say there really are Aeta, like Aeta, okay? Because Negrito means little Negroes. And I'm not sure what they were called at that particular time when their nation was being subdued by the lighter-skinned natives. But they were indeed reclassified as Negritos, and they were forced to work on the rice plantation. And as you can see, what happened with the Capamangans, they worked with the Spanish crown to subdue the true indigenous peoples of the Philippines. Okay. Meanwhile, in America, through 1796. During the latter crisis, Young wrote an extremely anti-Carib tract designed to prove that the Caribs should be removed from St. Vincent. They were eventually defeated, and some 5,000 Caribs were shipped to an island near the coast of Honduras. Young was anxious to prove that the so-called Black Caribs were not Aborigines, but were in fact Negro colonists, freed Negroes, or Negro usurpers. This was important to him because he wanted to show they had no bona fide land rights or Aboriginal title. This tendency continues, incidentally, amongst white scholars who even today refuse to accept the Caribs' avowed feelings of Indianness. And
let me pause that as well, right? So I've done extensive research on this subject, and so the dude William Young, he was a British governor, right, over there in the Caribbean back in the 1700s, right? So anyway, you have a situation where you had these Negropeans that was being dumped into the Caribbean. So we're talking about literal Moors, right, coming from Ireland, Scotland, England, so on and so forth, and they was being dumped, exiled, and these were criminals. All breeds of Moors and Hebrews, Negroes, right? The real Negroes. And so these people, they was also trying to claim to be indigenous and Aboriginal here to these Americas, right? And this is why the dude William Young was on it the way he was on it. So if you look up William Young, I've read some of his books, right? He's literally saying how these Black Caribs, these fake Caribs, if you will, they was going to war and they were selling who William Young calls the red Caribs. So we know that red means brown in the mind of the European, right? This is for them. This is how they was able to distinguish our American people from the foreigners because of our natural skin complexions. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, keep these elements in mind. And because as you see here, right, the eyes on this female here, okay? Her phenotype different than that of our American people, of our American women. You know what I'm saying? Very different. Although they have whatever shade of brown complexion, whatever, they're not your people. These people have no regard for you. They will act like they're your friend until they got just enough where they healthy and they don't need you no more, and then they stab you in your back. That's just what it is with them. This is life for them. So let me see. I'm not gonna beat that up because we got other subjects to get into. Let me see. Is there anything else important here? Oh yeah. Here goes some phenotypes. Yeah, here we go. Let's check this out.
Quote, as the 17th century wore on, inquisitors increasingly looked to skin color to make the distinction between who was a slave versus who was an Indian. The logic was as follows. An Indian was someone who, quote unquote, looked like an Indian. Chinos looked like Indians, so they were Indians, not slaves. Slaves were people with African features. For instance, in 1665, an elder turned in a runaway Chino slave who had blasphemed. Some testified he was a mulatto slave, and others called him Negro. The wording of these testimonies suggests that in 1665, the word black was being used for slave. The accused did not have to testify or even identify who he was. The judge simply accepted the categorization of the Spanish witnesses and treated him as a slave. The unnamed Chino looked like a slave, so he was under the court's jurisdiction. Individuals who had African features or whom witnesses described as castas, meaning people of mixed heritage, were not identified as Chinos or Indians. Individuals who did not resemble Indians, in other words, remained under the court's purview. So this means that if you had some African features, they'll just throw you in a bunch and call you an African, or they'll just call you black or a Negro and you will just be a slave. Okay, so that's how it worked. It was pretty much a caste system. All right.
I'm gonna pause it right there for a moment, right? So once again, this is historical, right? We talking about the 17th going into the 18th century. And so this mentality amongst the Asians, amongst the Europeans, Spanish, whoever, of if you have a certain appearance based on our logic, right, then that's what you are. You're African because we don't want to know if you're really African or not. We don't care to know. And so this is why we have these problems today, whereas this is ingrained within all of these foreigners. They don't care about who we are. They don't care about what we are. So it's on us to care. It's on us to know. Because we have to communicate to them like, nah, we ain't no African. Nah, that's defamation of character. Nah, you the African. Nah, you the foreigner. You the immigrant. You ain't got no right to be here. You damn sure ain't got no right to be disrespecting me nor any of my people. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What you think about all of this, though, huh?
Man, I'm out. You know what I'm waiting on? I'm waiting on that finale, but this right here is what we've been covering over and over again. And I like to get into that phenotype because we got a lot of people in these communities that are of the Asian phenotype that is, adding color to old pictures and making Asians brown and saying these are our people. So we have to start paying attention to the slanted, puffy eyes. We got to start paying attention to the phenotype of these Asians, no matter the dark skin, because we have plenty of dark-skinned Arabic people. We have plenty of dark-skinned Filipinos, plenty of dark-skinned Berbers and so forth. We have dark-skinned people from other places, but God damn it, they not from Mississippi. They not from America. Do you understand this? This is the point that we are trying to get across here, because we got a lot of mixing the dope going on in this community, and we seek to cease that as the pack. You know what I'm saying? So stay tuned, and we're going to get into it. But as far as this is something that's definitely a threat. Go ahead. We good.
Yeah, let me see what else we got right here. Yeah, so that pretty. Oh yeah. Let's go ahead and conclude it with this part right here for this video. Yeah. Here we go.
Do this because the Spanish government, who controlled Mexico and other places in Spanish America, including the Philippines and colonized areas in Asia, allowed them to reclassify themselves. Soon after, the Catholic Church supported them in this endeavor as well. The Catholic Church supported them in this endeavor. Even with their newly obtained status as Indians, Chino slaves were not independent people, but were merely subjects of the Spanish crown. Quote, throughout the Spanish Empire, colonized indigenous people were generally called Indians in reference to their geographic origin in the Eastern and Western Indies. More importantly, the word denoted that they were people who had been conquered, forced to accept Spanish sovereignty over their land, and made to pay a tribute. In return, Indians had a distinct legal and fiscal status as vassals of the Spanish king. Okay?
Yeah, so we're going to conclude right there. Definitely check out the text, Asian Slaves in Colonial Mexico, from Chinos to Indians, Tatiana Sejas. Very good book here. The link to the Amazon page to purchase it or order, whatever. We already got that in the chat. So yeah, we pretty much covered this very well. I'm gonna go ahead and put this other link in here too. This is an NIH document, right? Or it's on the website right there.
Definitely.
Yeah, then let me switch over to screen share again too.
Hey, it's about to get deep, man, because it's crazy. And now we're talking about how they brought them to the land, and now we're going to talk about the things that were going on the land now, and laws and things that are really, truthful about this slave trade that is going on in America, right on the shores, that we can prove that was a fact. This is not assumption. The scientist said this. These are all facts. So, you know, like I say, stay tuned. Hold on, let me get this in the chat for you.
Yeah, I'm putting another text here. This is a 21-page document right there. Whoever interested, y'all can get into that as well. So yeah, we got Manila Galleon right there. Yeah, now we about to get to this this super serious information here. This is crazy. This is crazy right here. And hold on, matter of fact, let me pull up these images too. Yeah, 1 second. Here we go. 1 second here. Hold up. Yeah, gotta grab these pictures. You see,
I'm waiting on right here.
See that one. Okay, yeah.
So that was 1500s, people. 1600s, people.
Going to say these joints
real quick. We want to go into the 17s, 18s. Here we go. Take a ride all the way to the 19s with this shit. We about to go into what happened. We want to know what did these Asian, why does they phenotype look Asian? Why are they saying they natives? They came on the Bering Strait. Fuck that. They came under the Bering Strait. They came under it. They come from the Philippines. They are dragged across the Philippines straight here.
That's right.
In mass numbers. You know what I'm saying? Coming all in California, telling you.
Non-stop boat rides, man. Just like what's going on right now. Like, yo, I mean, we don't even have an accurate count of how many Chinese and whatever else done hit the borders.
And I'd have been told, like, in these times, right? When I look it up, you know, I'd have gotten rough numbers, you know what I'm saying? Not accurate numbers, but I done got 300,000 Chinese in the 1700s running in this underground railroad, and I done got 200,000 to 300,000 fucking Filipinos. I done got 100,000 Japanese. You know what I'm saying? On the numbers when I was first having them, when I was first doing the, you know what I'm saying? This is the rough numbers that they was giving. Damn, 300,000, you know it was more. Then we talking about making love on the land and having babies.
That's right.
Come on now. We talking about
to this day. You know, when I was out there in LA some years ago, right? So, matter of fact, I think it was after I left. I can't recall. Somewhere it was some years ago. So over there, I think it was San Francisco, right? The police, they found a Chinese building. They found a building that the Chinese they literally had Chinese women in there who was only there for breeding. That's it. They were there literally just to get pregnant and have babies. Nothing else. There was not even an accurate number of how many years or how long that was going on. But once again, so if it takes 9 months for a female to, get pregnant and have a baby, right? Yo, that's a year. But we're talking about a whole building that's dedicated to the breeding. Yeah.
We talking orphan train. We talking the orphans. We talking white folks doing it when they was doing it. We talking about Asian colonization at this point, but these breeding stations, you know, they were breeding slaves. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. But it wasn't your ass. They was feeding you to alligators. They was hanging you, burning down your towns. They was trying to get rid of your ass. But they was breeding them. They breeding them like a motherfucker. And we got the proof.
That's right. And so, yeah, let me see. Where should we start at, yo? Because like I got all these links up right now, man.
Okay, so I want to go ahead and introduce the story, okay? And then we'll link off that, right? So now what we about to get into is the Chinese Underground Railroad, as you can see what's in front of you. You understand what I'm saying? This is some deep shit, right? In 1880, I think I can't see it, Tone, because you know I'm on my phone, but I can see if you, I think that's 1882, right?
Yep.
In 1882, the Chinese Exclusion Act was written. What we know for sure is, and we're going to show that there was 2 other Chinese Exclusion Acts written before this one. Maybe one after and maybe one before, whatever circle that it came in. I know they were probably before this one. This was a later one. And these exclusion acts, if you look in them, they were excluding the Chinese from out of the country after they were laboring on the plantations, after they was helping building the railroad, after they were goddamn, you know what I'm saying? And basically being slave to do so, you know. But after they was in the Sacramento gold rush and all the mines and all of that type of shit, they got these exclusion acts written against them. Now we're talking same time as the Trail of Tears, people. We talking about them early, mid 1800s. We talking about Trail of Tears time because of the Chinese Exclusion Act. We talking about people living in the northern parts of America. You know what I'm saying? And getting up and going in the mines and slaving all day. Now they gotta go. We talking about they gotta get up, get out whatever land they living on, and it's been an Exclusion Act. We deporting motherfuckers. You gotta go now. You understand what I'm saying? So now in this Chinese Underground Railroad, you have this as being a trafficking organization and a smuggling organization. And we're gonna, you know, if you go down the smuggler's tone, we're going to
let me read this part that I just highlighted. Right?
Oh, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I just want to read that. Then we're gonna jump down there to the smuggler part, right? Because this ties right into that part, right? So it says here, because of the 1882 Chinese Exclusion Act, Chinese immigrants, with the help of Chinese laborers living in Mexico and smugglers, would illegally enter the United States in order to bypass the act. All right. So keep that in mind as far as what we see going on right now and what has been, you know, made aware via you know, media and all of that, of all these immigrants coming in. They are getting assistance from people on the land to enter illegally. So now we're going to jump down here to the smuggler part that you just referenced, right? What is that? Smuggling. Here we go. Yeah, you want to continue or you want me to do it?
Oh, you go ahead in, brother. I'll tap in. Go ahead.
So yeah, it just says right here on smuggling. Various smugglers also continued the Chinese Underground Railroad. Jim Bennett, along with Lee Kwong, Louis Greenwald, and B.C. Springsteen, right? All ran this business of getting Chinese immigrants into the United States for over 3 years. That's just this small group right here.
Exactly.
So this was their business, and they had this business for 3 years. Smugglers would first collect $50 to $200 from Chinese immigrants and help them to travel to the United States. That's a big number from what they're paying right now, though, right? Right now, they hit upwards of $5,000 a head. And that's just to get here.
You would say that this is equivalent, though. We talking the 1800s.
That's right.
That money is that's buku money. $50.
50 to 100. Pardon me, 50 to 200.
Gee.
And is there the actual documented numbers? Well, it's saying here, you know, they got 20,000 right there. We're gonna get to that in a second. Let me go and continue though, right? It says the business continues successfully thanks to Bennett's precision in ensuring that his assistants were capable and trustworthy. They would use several concealment methods, such as hiding immigrants in wagons or making the immigrants wear Mexican clothes. The business ended after Chinese Inspector Charles Connell found immigrants with faulty certificates that they had received from Springsteen. So basically, they was forging documents. Same thing is going on right now, right? Continuing, after capturing Springsteen and hearing his testimony, Greenwald and Bennett were arrested, and Kwong, the only Chinese smuggler of the bunch, was deported to China, right? So now concluding, it says, it is close to impossible to determine how many Chinese immigrants entered the United States through Mexico with the help of these advanced smuggling businesses. Guama's businessman W. Ibery estimated 20,000, though this could be incorrect. By 1916, the Chinese smuggling business had significantly declined, so that Chinese immigrants began to search for opportunities to live and work in Mexico. All right? And so we see this in Mexico. We see what's been going on in Mexico just within the past 20, 30 years. We see what's going on in Mexico right now.
trafficking, human trafficking, drug trafficking,
Man, organ trafficking. Like, yo,
man,
some of the people to pay for their trip here.
Vicious. They vicious as hell, cutting each other up, leaving them on the corners. They vicious.
Yeah.
You think they pussy? They vicious as hell.
Yeah.
Man.
Now people got to be aware of this. Because these random Pelskins and whatever that's popping up in our communities, yo, most of our people have no idea what these people are capable of, what their backgrounds are. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like these people, they are veterans. Like I'm talking about, they are seasoned generation after generation in all aspects of corruption. They got all types of hitters.
Generations.
Like their hitters are butchers. To say put it in the most simplest terms, their hitters are butchers.
Butchers on my kids.
You know what I'm saying? When we were speaking earlier, I'm like, yo, these people, they have a system where, yo, they will literally turn your brain into lo mein. They've already been selling dogs and cats out the stores. You think they ain't been selling other stuff? You know what I'm saying?
Let's get to it.
They sell anything, and they will use anything. Then if you go into the history of China itself, you know, I shared this some years ago, right? So we all heard about, you know, what Trump said about, you know, the China virus and all of that, right? He wasn't lying, right? But if you do the research on the location in China where that virus came from, right? Yo. So back in the 1940s, there was a great famine in China where the Chinese government, they sealed off that same location. It's like Guangdong or something, Guangdong province, right? They sealed off the people that inhabited that province. They could not leave. They would be killed if they tried to leave. Nothing could get in, nothing could get out. What the people resorted to doing was eating each other to the point where anybody that died and was buried, you had people that was digging them up, chopping them up, and then selling these body parts to the locals for food.
Facts.
That's real Chinese history right there. And that's only like what? About good 80 years ago? Facts. So what do you think about the survivors of that and the people outside of that province that knew what was going on, and now these people coming over here? This is reality we talking about. Let's continue. Where we going next with it?
We're going to go down to the Underground Railroad, like to tell it, basically explaining the Underground Railroad down there, where they was trafficking through with the opium, and that they were a drug trafficking organization as well. It says that right.
Yeah, right here.
Right there.
Yeah.
I can see it.
So it said here the Chinese Underground Railroad from Mexico to the United States was not actually a railroad, but it did follow the railroad lines between Sonora and Arizona. Same lines that we hear about right now, Sonora and Arizona, right? Anyway, The underground, you also got the Sonora cartel, right?
Yeah. Yeah. El Chapo, no.
But that's a Sinaloa. That's Sinaloa.
Sinaloa, yeah, Sinaloa. Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So the Underground Railroad was found throughout the Mexican-American border, but its most common route was through El Paso. The route smuggled Chinese immigrants as well as drugs, mainly opium and diamonds, to cities in the United States, such as Los Angeles to Chicago, right? Anglo-Americans and Chinese immigrants would team up to bring Chinese immigrants to the United States through Mexico. Anglo-Americans, those are Europeans, right? So Europeans and Chinese immigrants were working together then in the 1800s. That's what it's saying here. But we know that the Spanish and the Portuguese, who was originally transporting them back in the 16th century forward, right? Well, they're also Europeans. So once again, this goes into the elaborate and historical relationship that these foreigners have amongst themselves, right? So continuing, right? In the early 1900s, smugglers took advantage of the less populated regions in the borderland to bring Chinese immigrants into the United States. Smugglers would begin in Mexican cities such as Salina Cruz, Manzanillo, Mazatlan, Guaymas, and traveled through Nogales, Arizona, Sonora, which were twin border cities until they reached the United States. All right. So I'm sure they're still using these same routes, right?
So we talking damn near Oklahoma. We talking about where the Native Americans are today, basically.
Yeah,
Oklahoma, Arizona, El Paso, Texas. We talking about China. This is why Mexicans look Asian and Spaniard, and we wonder where did they get that Asiatic phenotype from? They come from Asia. This is what we don't understand. And they speak Spanish because those are the Europeans that brought them over here. So this is their dominant language of communicating with them. So they speak Spanish, and they have lost their way.
And he was breeding with the Europeans.
Exactly. So this is why you got mixed breed, dark skin, a not slick hair, Spanish speaking Sammy Sosa looking motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? When he was dark skinned type shit. You know what I'm saying? And we be like, they us. We always think these people are us, and they just a mixed breed of these different races that came here, you know, via Spaniard conquest. And now we talking about how they in America, right? We talking about the Underground Railroad. So now just take our time back to entertainment, Tone. What do we know about that time, though?
What, the Underground Railroad period?
No, just this situation when we're talking about trafficking, right? We want to just talk about this era. We want to talk about the railroads just being put up, right? We want to talk about the railroads being robbed. We want to talk about the banks being robbed.
Yeah.
We want to talk about the robberies that's going on, the trafficking, the stealing, the going at the law enforcement because of these acts. We want to talk about outlaws. These are Chinese outlaws. And we want to talk about, just because it's called the Chinese Exclusion Act doesn't mean that they're not trafficking Filipinos. Doesn't mean that they don't got the Japanese. They paying the toll too. Everybody is on this that's Asian is jumping on this in and out of America shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
This is what we're trying to get you to understand, that these guys came up with a plan. Okay, they're gonna put us out. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna dress up like Mexicans. We'll get you up to where the Democrats or however they thinking back then. And when this shit, the rest of the people that's just walking around, because there's so many of them, people that can't afford it, they running towards the borders so that they won't get put on the boat and sent back to Asia. So they rather go take their chance and run into Mexico and run into those areas. So they running down there. You know what I'm saying? So they getting up out of here, and then they dressing up like Mexicans. And then they this is the situation. This is the magnitude. They dressing up and committing identity theft. And they like, we just gonna chill here. You understand what I'm saying? This crazy. Like when I really get the understanding of what rebels was and how all these cowboys and quote unquote Indians, but they really mean outlaws, Asian outlaws that were under certain acts that the government written. So now you got the wild fucking West going on. These motherfuckers robbing banks, they doing anything to survive. This is how dangerous they are today. They here in the city, and you think they don't pose no threat until it get tight. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, and they racist as hell too. Don't never forget that point.
And a motherfucker, and they faking like they not.
Exactly.
They faking. But they as dangerous as they was then when they was coming up there running as outlaws and with the Caucasians and Wild Billy Guns and his Asian homie, Native American that was born on the land, and that's why they was fighting for. So now, you know, these exclusion acts has been written. They got to get up. They got to leave, bro. This shit got written in law to remove them right now. Like, they was here. They was working. They was having babies. They was up in America thinking shit was cool. The motherfucking government started posting up, oh, man, you see the Chinese around this motherfucker going to jail.
Yo,
like deportation. They out of here. Motherfuckers getting up running. This the Trail of Tears.
Yo, Trump said when he get back in, this gonna be the largest deportations in U.S. history.
We gonna be working like a motherfucker, boy.
Man,
work gonna be back. America gonna be back.
I tell you, man. Hey. I mean, I know how some people feel about the feds, but I'm gonna put it like this: we need people in law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? We gonna need some people grabbing some ICE badges and some ICE uniforms, and yeah, immigrations and custom enforcement. Yeah, they about to have a super hiring frenzy, and shit. At the same time, the feds, I'm sure they're going to have contracts. So if you're involved in contracting, or you got a corporation that provides, security, private contracting, security, police services,
So immigrant tracking.
Yep, all of that. Yep.
Keep up with their ass. Documentation. You got to get up out of there. They say come down there and talk to them. People want to talk to you.
Some ridiculous contracts. I'm talking about them shits might be hitting on like $50 billion contracts, man. Come on.
Man.
Come on. Anyway, where we get? Oh, yeah. Hold on. Yeah, we right there. Okay, so it says here, traveling through the Mexican border could prove to be treacherous, right? Because it was largely a desert. Many Chinese immigrants got lost easily and became weakened by dehydration and lack of food. I don't care.
But hey, could I say something though that could just really get the understanding of this shit, right? So in the beginning of this shit, before we got all the way down here, did they not say the Chinese Underground Railroad was similar to the African American Underground Railroad?
That's right.
Did they not say similar? So you gonna tell me this is similar to a fucking smuggling, sex, organ trafficking, all type of trafficking, what not organ, but diamonds, opiates, people trafficking, prostitution, slaving. This is this is a similar organization to this.
That's right.
They telling on themselves. They think we dumb. They think we dumb.
Real talk. I'm sure this was a lot more groups.
Right. I know this was real. This was real. That shit is fake. We can call that shit up with Black America and the bullshit with Nate Salisbury and them. I wonder if they knew anything about this Asian trafficking. I'm sure they bought a few of them motherfuckers for the circus. I'm sure.
Yeah, they got the Asians. They had them in a circus. Hell yeah, they had plenty of Chinese and
motherfuckers was hiding under feathers. We about to go play Indians.
Man, straight up and that's where that started at, in the circus. They was doing a circus, and then he run around in general public, robbing banks and stage coaches and trains and all of that. You know what I mean? Like sick, man. So where we at with it? Yeah, and lack of dehydration, lack of food. Chinese immigrants who chose to rely on smugglers could find them untrustworthy. In one example, 16 Chinese immigrants were killed after first collectively paying their smuggler guides. That's still happening to this day. These people are paying to get smuggled in, and oftentimes they're literally getting robbed and killed. Today, the Chinese immigrants who suffered and died in the desert are remembered through the names of the desert. The area between San Felipe and Mexicali Imperial Valleys is now called El Deserito, or Desierto de los Chinos, the Chinese desert, they call it, right? When you translate it to English, the Chinese desert. And other areas such as Chinaman Flat, El Chinero, Llano, El Chinero commemorate the immigrant victims. That's crazy, man. And you see how they got no problem coming over here and changing the name to honor their people, right?
Facts.
I got a problem with that. We don't need no foreigners coming over here renaming anything of ours. We're not going to China and anywhere else in the world trying to rename what's theirs.
Right.
It's crazy. So continue. We concluding. Coming close to it. It says the Underground Railroad was often supported by Chinese people who lived near the border. Chinese immigrants could move from Real de Castillo to these other places thanks to the Chinese who lived in those villages. So yeah, these immigrants were supporting each other, as we were discussing earlier. Those immigrants who successfully reached the American side of the border, the United States side of the border, all right, because we cannot, America's a continent. We got to keep that in mind at all times. America's a continent. Our American nation's people are the only Americans. Everybody else is a foreigner. That's just what it is, right? So continue with American side of the border, United States side of the border, often continue to help other immigrants pass through the borderlands as well. One town that continued the Underground Railroad was El Paso, Chinatown. One could illegally enter El Paso by going through Ciudad Juarez, right? Where Chinese immigrants learned English. Houses and buildings on the route concealed places for the Chinese immigrants to hide as they move from one area to another, supported by other Chinese people in the area. However, the town was mostly filled with men who were unable to establish families because Chinese women were not allowed to enter the United States at all because of the Chinese Exclusion Act. And so the reason why the United States wasn't allowing those Chinese women to come in, because they didn't want them breeding.
Facts.
They didn't want them breeding because, for the United States, if you are an immigrant, right? If you become an immigrant and you have a baby here, well, now your baby gets U.S. citizenship.
Facts.
So they didn't want this happening uncontrolled. But we see where we are today, right? This is damn near 200 years later. Based on these dates right here. This is the 1800s. And so continuing, we're about to conclude with this part, right? So additionally, the Mexican Revolution and the increased enforcing of the Mexican-American border made it more difficult to use the Underground Railroad. Because of this, the community died in the early 1900s. So let me show y'all something real interesting, right? What is newspaper at? What is thing at? Hold up. Yeah, I got it over here. Check this out. So this is San Francisco, the San Francisco Call. This is dated May 3rd, 1900, right? And so as you see, Chinese slave girls being landed as native daughters. Pay attention to this, right? The date, 1900.
Damn.
Keep in mind, right?
Damn.
That's the same period as the Dawes Rolls Act, right?
Facts.
And the Dawes Commission. All right. So here it is. First, we got the circus, where via the circuses, they're painting an image of what an American Indian looks like.
Basically through the American, because the circus and entertainment dealt with the Pan-American expedition, where they went around America and they dressed up, and this was educational and social historical programming. You know what I'm saying? Where they dressed the Asians up like Indians, and they went under a Pan-American thing. So every time you seen a parade or something, every time you seen some Pan-American shit, you seen via entertainment as chiefs coming out dressed up and shit. You feel what I'm saying? This is how this shit was pushed. So, and like you say, Dawes Rolls and everything, they landed here as native daughters. They not Chinese no more. They natives. This is what they saying. Identity theft at its time.
So what this is saying here, shameful traffic in Oriental chattels, which is being maintained as a source of great profit by the local ring, revealed in documents which have been presented to federal authorities. So let's get into this article a little bit, right? And mind you, this is a whole page right here, like the whole page of this document here. This is all about them. This entire article is all about them, and it continues on page 5. So this can be found on Library of Congress. Let me go and drop the link to this as well. If anybody want to follow along, here we go. Where we at? Yeah. That's that one. And then this is, where's the other Library of Congress link at? Hold up. Yeah, let me duplicate this tab. Go back. Here we go. Now this is the actual link, and you should be able to get. It's 14 pages for this particular article here. So yeah, this is very important information right here. You know what I'm saying? And our youth especially need to be aware of all of this, because they're not going to learn this in school. They teaching the youth a lot of useless things right now, from what I understand. You know what I mean? I ain't been to grade school in a long time, but they wasn't teaching nothing back then anyway. You know what I mean? But fast forward right now, apparently it's a lot more garbage. And so yeah, it's on us to make sure our youth are aware, so that they'll be prepared for what's guaranteed to come. Because once again, this was going on from the 16th century all the way up to right now, still happening with greater technology advancements, right? So the article begins like this: notwithstanding the expose which the call has made of the criminal and outrageous traffic which is being fostered at this port in Chinese. The shameful business still continues, and today there is being maintained at San Francisco a slave trade that in its audacity is perhaps without parallel in the history of the country, and in the profits to the members of the ring who are engaged in it is greater than any other that ever disgraced an administration of official affairs in this city. Not only are native sons, quote unquote, of California being admitted through the custom house in swarms, but native daughters are passing the barrier of federal laws as well to be sold after they leave the vessels upon which they arrive as so much convertible merchandise. So basically, what's being described here, right? They're presenting these immigrants, these newly arrived immigrants, they're presenting them as though they are natives, right? And then these people are immediately being sold into slavery, immediately. So continuing, it says, not only are coolie merchants, students, and tourists being landed at this port in violation of law, but merchants' wives, women students, and native-born Chinese girls are passing into San Francisco to be sold by Chinese and white agents into slavery. In the slave market of this city today, the price of a Chinese chattel is $2,800, and the agents find much profit in dealing with their human merchandise at this price. Merchants' wives, girl students, and native daughters have passed from the dock of the Pacific Mail Steamship Company, Pacific Mail Steamship Company, directly to slave pens in Chinatown. And so blind are the federal federal officials who should guard against and kill. Look at that. It says right there, who should guard against and kill the local slave trade. All right. They're supposed to guard against and kill the local slave trade that they have taken the work of. Investigation altogether out of the hands of the official inspectors and permitted it to be made by men most interested in encouraging the importation of Chinese slaves. So once again, this is 1900 on the nose. This is 1900. Yo, in the year 1900s, that is 124 years ago, right? Our American people, we didn't have to worry about no food. Our food was good. Our clothes was clean. Our land was good. Our people healthy. And yeah, we had problems with the foreigners, but all in all, amongst ourselves, we was good money. We was wealthy. We didn't have to worry about these. We didn't have these type problems right here. But you see what they done did. Yo, you got a Chinese woman that's on TikTok, right? I think you're familiar with the video where she's talking about how fast forward as of, I want to say, the 1970s, 80s, approximately around that period, the redlining and how the Chinese were directed to open up businesses within our communities, giving all types of business loans and whatever funding they needed so that they can reduce our wealth. But our people being directed to go to their beauty supplies and their fast food and whatever else they was doing. And mind you, they was also smuggling heroin and whatever else, working with whoever else they was working with. You seen that show? What's it called? The Power Book. The recent season of it. You seen it?
No, I haven't.
Yo, it's pure blaxploitation, right? And so the setting of it is the 1980s, 1990s, early 1990s, right? And so anyway, they show in there how this quote unquote black female who's a drug dealer in New York, right? So she makes an agreement with the Chinese who got large quantities of heroin. They smuggling heroin. And so she's working with them. And in conjunction with working with them, she's working with the Italians. And they all got a good agreement together. So, they all get money together. Huh?
And I just want to point out that this is still a behavior of what we call Mexicans today.
That's right.
Because their descendants are Chinese and Spaniards. and they dealt in the drug trade. They dealt in the human trafficking trade. It never stopped. This is them right now today, what we talking about. We ain't just talking about the Chinese. Just understand, we're talking about the descendants of the Chinese, which are Mexicans and natives today. Now, the natives are only 1% of America. So when the mass deportation comes, it's going to be ugly. Because the natives only 1%. It's only a few of them with ID cards. And when they looking for them Asians, they showing up on the reservations. They looking for motherfuckers who they know is Asians or hiding Asians.
Yo, while India, you got some serious comments in here. We got Lala D right there. She said one Chinese shop got busted sending a photo of a little quote unquote black girl to someone. They're stealing these missing quote unquote black kids too. Yeah, absolutely. And to the other people's question, Queen's Throne's question, are they slaves for life? Well, let me give you a little Chinese history lesson, right? So in places like China, basically, right, I'm gonna give you an example, right? So let's say I robbed your house, right? I broke into your house and I stole your TV or something, right? And you caught me, right? Basically, I would get the shit beat out of me, right? One, and then what they're gonna do, they're gonna make me their slave for goddamn like 3 generations. So pretty much, not only will I have to work for them for the rest of my life, but so will my daughters and sons, and then my daughters and sons' daughters and sons. That's their custom, where they will enslave their people forever. They don't care. The mother busted the Chinese man taking a photo and called the police. All in camp. Damn, the police did nothing. And you see this what I'm saying, right? And there's that story sounds familiar. Yeah, you know what? I was speaking to one of the peoples out of Jersey last year. And she telling me the Africans in Jersey, they doing the same thing. Absolutely. They will literally take pictures. I'm talking about like this particular woman. So her daughter, she got 2 daughters that's in grade school. It's like a good school over there in Jersey somewhere, right? And it's a lot of Africans in her area, and they kids go to the same school. And so her daughters is in classes with these Africans, so on and so forth. And she found out that the African males, like the uncles or whoever, were present when these little girls is doing their after school activities, but it's still school related, right? Their uncles and whoever else, these random African males, is taking pictures of these little girls. These are American girls that they're taking pictures of, and they're sending these photos around. We have no idea what type of communications is accompanying those photos. But these are examples of the active threat taking place against our people that most of us have no clue about. Because once again, in Africa, right, over there, I showed in past presentations how, you can look this up, right? For the past 20 plus years in West Africa, throughout West Africa, there has been literally a rape epidemic. Let me show you right now, matter of fact. I'm going to show you a couple of things. Rape epidemic West Africa. All right, so it's saying the scourge of sexual violence in West Africa unveiled, right? So I'm gonna drop this link in the chat. Y'all can view this for yourselves, right? And then you see the dates on here. So that's a little chart right there, right? And it's talking about proportion percent of women aged 15 to 49. When you really get into these reports, you're gonna see they're over there raping everything from infants all the way up to like elderly women. No bullshit. Filthy. That's what I'm saying. Too many of our people have no clue about these foreigners. Oh, yes, over there in Hindustan too. That's what they do that. Yeah, they do. Yeah. Yeah, it's a part of their culture. Yeah, and so if you run this search right here, I'm just gonna drop it on. I'm just gonna drop what I search for. Feel free to run this Google search, see for yourselves, explore the subject matter, discuss this with your people. All right, it's very important. Let me show you something else that's going on. Y'all heard of Yahoo Boys?
I've never heard of this.
Ritual killings. Yeah. This is super active. Yeah. So they got gangs of predominantly males. It's pretty much males involved in this, right? Where basically these dudes, some way, somehow, they got it in a logic, right? Where they can goddamn trick females or whoever in Africa, right? Trick their own people into going to somebody's home, right? And they're going to chop them up, right? Going to kill them, rape them, do whatever, have their way with them, and then they're going to take body parts to a quote-unquote witch doctor, right? And the witch doctor is going to make a charm, right? And this charm is supposed to make them like make them a millionaire overnight. If they're caught, they end up getting locked up and they never get their money, right? But what they're not talking about here, right? The particular organs and body parts that's being taken for these for this quote-unquote ritual killing, well, these are organs that are being sold. The witch doctor's getting money because he got people going out collecting organs for him. He don't got to kill nothing. But he's sending dummies out to kill whoever, innocent people that's from this area, right? And then this is what's going on. But you know, of course, the Pan-Africans ain't letting the people know, none of our people know about this over here, right? So therefore, it's on us to inform each other about what's really going on with these people. Because when we hear stories like the young man, there was a young man in Illinois, right? He was a University of Illinois student, right? He was found with his body parts missing. I forgot his name. Wild Indian, yo, you familiar with that story?
You said with what story?
It was a young man, college student, brown skinned kid, like in his early 20s or something, right? He was found with his body part missing, numerous parts. His eyes was missing, like it's a whole gruesome story, right? And his mother was seeking answers, like, yo, like, and then what's crazy when I seen the news report on it, right? Why did he interview an African?
Oh yeah, okay. Is you talking about the guy, the young man that was rolled up in the mattress?
I don't know. I can't recall if he was rolled up in it.
You say he was he an athlete?
I can't recall. Oh no. That's a story out of Georgia, what you're referring to.
Yeah.
I'm speaking about the joint that happened. This happened a couple years ago. This is fresh in Illinois. Let me see if I can locate that article real quick. Let me see.
Damn, not
Illinois,
I don't know about it.
Body found with.
That's crazy.
Let me see if I can find this. Yeah, Jelani Day. Here you go, right here, Jelani Day.
Yeah, okay. I heard this name. Put that up though. I ain't know too much about this case. Damn, it was like that.
And they trying to say that his organs weren't missing now. Yeah, they plan. It's
been a lot of organ missing. Every time the kids come from the hospital and go to AR Links on 79th and Cottage shit, their organs gone. Yeah. Eyes and everything. They ain't gave none of our kids back with no organs.
Okay, they trying to say that the mother, man, when I seen the original report, the mother said his eyes was missing and some other parts was missing. This is crazy. They don't switched it up, yo.
You know what's going on.
Man.
You gotta screenshot that shit and catch it on the first day you catch it.
Nah, that's the truth though. Yeah, but anyway, you know, these are the things that we got to keep our people on alert for. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, you know, we have to secure communications within our communities and all of that because, you know, the foreigners, they discussing, they plotting on us actively. This is what they do. Oh, yeah. The model dude, same thing happened with that guy. Yep. Yep, same thing with the it was a modeling dude. He went out. He was on his way to Hollywood or something for some model opportunity.
Out to France or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and he came up missing, organs missing, the whole nine, and nobody know nothing, right?
And now we know that this is the behavior of these people, and this is where it come from.
Yeah, over there in China right now, man, they got videos of Chinese men kidnapping little girls.
Shit, and that's the same for their descendants as Mexico and Chihuahua, whatever they call it. 125 people go missing a month. That's in Mexico. Their descendants have the same behavior.
Yeah, but did you hear what I just said a moment ago? Yo, in China, they kidnapping Chinese little girls, right? And putting them in coolers.
Putting them in what?
They putting them in coolers. Like you know how you on your way to a barbecue and you pick up a cooler to put ice in and all of that to carry whatever you about to go to the barbecue with, the sodas or whatever you gonna put in whatever you taking to the picnic, right? They traveling with those. As soon as they snatch a little kid, they put him in a cooler.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for people with random coolers in the wintertime, especially, right? Anytime. Like, them people ain't barbecuing nowhere for real. That's not a part of their culture. Yeah, man. So, this information get real detailed, man. You know what I mean? I don't know where you want to go at next with it. But,
I want to go ahead and pull up some pictures of the guys that was in charge. Okay, we definitely here.
These guys
one
right
of the
here?
articles. Oh yeah, here we go with Mr. Which one is this? Lee Kwong.
Yeah,
this is the guy. This is the actual mug shots. This processing papers. He going to jail. This is your Harriet Tubman of the Chinese Underground Railroad. If we can look at some pictures of them outlaws, got a couple pictures of the outlaws, show them how they went from Asian outlaws into Native American outlaws and cowboys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
You got some more of them pictures back there, though, don't you?
Yeah, we got this one right here. Yeah, these people here. We got that joint. We got this guy right here.
That's supposed to be a chief that was basically in the circus. This is Chinese Underground Railroad escapee.
Exactly.
Fucking Exclusion Act escapee, playing in the circus, running around doing Pan American expeditions with Pawnee Bill and Nate Salisbury in Black America. This is all the time, all this shit going on. America, like Marcus Garvey, do they know the nigga from the Underground Railroad? Like, it's crazy. This shit all going on.
Man, yeah, you know yo, because keep in mind, right, just like with that John, what was it, the John Brown dude with the circus?
Yeah, the white dude.
Yeah, the circus event you had going on in New York and all of that during the early 1900s, right? And so that dude, he's tied in with a lot of those black organizations. So yeah,
he was, and they just that's crazy.
Just like all these celebrities know each other right now today, same way they knew each other back then. All the black preacher passive reverends, they know each other today. They knew each other back then.
Exactly. This is just crazy that all of this shit going on, and now we understanding what we're separating is American Indian from what they calling themselves natives, and telling you during the Chinese Exclusion Act, okay, these people that were born on the land, they went to the government all the way in the 1900s. They was going to the government and they was begging these people to let them stay in this land. Understand, you got different fights going on. You got they rebels, you got motherfuckers being chased out, you got people running, and then you got people trying to fight within the law to change the law and deal with the president. So in 1935 is when these YT people and these Asian people became natives. They got naturalized as natives. This is how this shit went, and this is why. So now when they go looking for the Chinese immigrants, when they go looking for them Spaniard Venezuelans that look like them and they want to get them out the country, that 1% that is natives will not be getting kicked out because they fought to be born to the land. That's all this shit is. And this is where the reparation conversation really comes from. Because it was actually for truth. We got to really be looking into this shit of what it really is. You know what I'm saying? And how this shit really manifests and who these people really are that's calling themselves indigenous and act like Mexico wasn't colonized. You know what I'm saying? They act like that ain't where they really went on a spree and wars with the Maya and wars with the real Aztecs and moving them out and really killing people because they were dark complected. You know, you got a place called Matamoros. Remember that right there, where the folk people was killed and they was colored. They was us, and they went down there.
And Matamoros, when you translate, it means more killer.
More killer. Any dark skin. They don't want to see dark skin. So we ain't even getting into what could have been the extermination wars that could have been going on in Mexico and South America at the time. We're just telling you that, hey, we had Asian laborers in the country. In the thousands, in the hundreds of thousands, in the millions. Different, because we got the Japanese Exclusion Act. We got the Filipino Exclusion Act. Where the fuck is all of these Asians? Where have they gone? This is the question that we want to leave with you. Where the fuck has all of these people gone that was running in the Chinese Underground Railroad, that was supplying the opium? Where is the fuck is their descendants?
Man, they the people behind the scenes. Goddamn,
man, they the Venezuelans over here in this motherfucking school over here in Winthrop.
Check it right. So I don't know if you seen a news report that came out a couple months ago out of Denver, Colorado, right?
Okay.
It was called like the best Western motor inn or something like that, where here it is, you got this Korean woman by the name of Prince, right? And so she's like, oh yeah, you know, all these, I'm an immigrant, and so you know, all these immigrants is coming here, you know, I feed them, I give them a place to live at the hotel, da 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 da. Anyway, she says in there that she had an investor, right, who was paying, who bought out the hotel and was paying for all these immigrants, these illegal immigrants, right? So I did the research on the subject. I'm gonna see if I can locate it and send it over to you, right? But long story short, it's a Chinese corporation. All their names are listed on the business records. If you know how to do business searches on companies, look into these companies in your community, see who owns them. You know what I'm saying? This is where these people who we just asking about, these people that was making all this money, selling Chinese people as slaves and all of that, during the early 1900s and the 1800s, etc. Yo, this is what they're into: real estate. They're in the real estate, and they're still involved in smuggling and enslavement of their own people. Still going on. Difference is, you know, they have transitioned their position in society. Like, we look at this image right here. Let me zoom in on this, right? Oh no, that's horrible right there. No, that did too crazy. You see, yeah, here we go. Let me zoom in on here. So look, this is an old photo in Chinatown, right?
Right.
Back in the day. All these dudes are wearing the same clothes, the exact same shoes, exact same socks, exact same pants, same hairstyle, all of that, right? Yo, they're all involved in the slave trade, opium smuggling, the whole nine. So imagine if these dudes end up putting a suit on, right? Imagine where the way their descendants look now, right? They look like college students.
Cut his fucking hair. Get a line up. Mix with white down the line.
Gotta fade. Hey, you seen the new shit with the Chinese where they making themselves they put mad chemicals in their hair so they look like they got an afro.
Yeah, look like they got that nice little curly hair we got. That nice texture. They want that texture because they got that Caucasian texture.
And meanwhile, yeah, this the
They
money
love that look. They love them little one braids down the back, don't they?
Oh yeah,
That's when they was wearing that.
And
all the pictures was depicting them with that little one braid, sometimes two, but that little one braid that go down their back. It was a lot of comic depictions in the newspapers of that braid, that braid that the Native Americans love so much. They don't never braid their hair all the way up. They just got that one braid or that two braids. That's all they got for you, because that's that Asian shit. That's that Chinese shit. Look at homeboy over there to the right with the one braid coming from under his head.
He linked on the wall. He got the gangster lean, right?
The trafficked all type of shit.
Man,
he done made him some money. $200. That's like equivalent to like $4,000 there. Shit, now.
That's the OG right there. He watching his workers. All the young dudes, his workers.
Look at all the braids going down their backs. Look, that's that Asian shit. They love that little one braid. I'm telling you, just go on the Native American motherfucking reservation and look in that motherfucker. They all got the little one braid going down, put to the back. Talking about they natives.
Pull up an old kung fu movie, you gonna see them same braids.
Talking about they made braid. One braid. Don't got no designs, no shit. Just one braid, my shit to the back. Shaolin monk. Oh, bro, get the fuck out. These people, like, we really just, like, this shit is historical right now. Like, we really just exposed them, man. We exposed. It's just really incredible right now because we expose these people to the fact of showing you the circus and the entertainment aspect of this. You know, this was done 2 years ago, 3 years ago. We went 3 documentaries strong, showing you the aspect, the circus, the entertainment side of this. Now we're showing you the Transpacific slave trade. We're showing you, you know what I'm saying, these underground railroads. And like you said, this is one group of them. And like I said, they ain't just Chinese on this underground railroad. It's Jim Bennett. That ain't no goddamn Chinese name. That's a nigga or a white man. And Jim, at this time, sounds like cracker to me. You know what I'm saying? They working with who it was, Schrimmenberg. That's a fucking Jew.
That's right.
That's a Jew.
It said in there Anglo Americans who they was working with.
You can call out their last names, and if anything, we should know that Kwong, that's somebody Asian. Bennett, that's a nigga or a white man that was born on these lands. And who else they got? Stevensburg. What's that other name down there that I can't see that?
Hold on, you said the other name.
Oh no, you ain't on the names. You on the Anglo.
Yeah,
the names of these characters, because we know last names. The people who was running the Underground Railroad, they are the smugglers.
They treat names like CPNs, man.
Yeah, but still, right here, you can just tell this is real name shit. That's Jim Bennett. And then Kwong was locked up. We just showed you the picture of Kwong. Lee Kwong, he was locked up. Shit. Lewis, that motherfucker's from somewhere, but he on these lands. And this motherfucker right here, BC. What's that last name?
Springsteen, like Bruce
Springsteen. That motherfucker Jew. He's a Steen.
Is that Bruce Springsteen grandfather or uncle or something?
Shit, I don't know, but Springsteen, that's a Jew name.
That's a name you'll hear every day, right?
That's fuck. When I hear Steen, I know what the fuck is going on.
You know, you got the gold.
The Steeningbergs, the Steening.
Yeah, you got a bunch of them, but Springsteen. That's not the name.
Exactly.
Let's see what it looked like when you want to Google search on Springsteen real quick.
About to break his ass down.
Bruce Springsteen come up first. Spelled a little bit different, but yeah. Springsteen.
You know they all be related. You know all of them. There's gonna be a few of them. Yeah, that's my cousin. It's my great grandfather, a trafficker.
Yeah, man. So wow, Indy, I gotta make a move real quick. You know, definitely been a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? I hope the people enjoyed this discussion.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? But yeah, check out them links. Check out them links that was put in there. You know, definitely inform your peoples about it. real deep subject matter. And yeah, people gotta be on point, man.
Man, I appreciate you for coming through, man. You already know, man, reuniting with the pack, man. That meant a lot to me, man. I appreciate that shit, man. You blessing the platform with the education like you normally do and always been doing, man. You already know this has been a blessing. You know what I'm saying? Blessed be to the tribe. Stay alert, stay alive, my boy.
No doubt. Appreciate you. Get with you soon. Y'all be good.
For sure.
All right.
Man, shout out to Tone, man. Like I say, man, important information that has been dropped, and now you're going to be seeing this information being shared throughout the TikToks, throughout the the other social media websites. A lot of people are sticking with this bullshit ass black nobility shit, and they're worried about the wrong things they got to do with black, and they think that black and black and black is the only history in American lands, and we're not understanding what really went on here. You understand what I'm saying on these lands? So, man, we back. We doing this shit. Hopefully we can get everybody out when I fuck around with StreamYard and don't go strictly through YouTube. They tend to block my views. So if you could share this, if you down with this, we're going to continue to come back and push this. Tuck your daishiki, your goddamn kufi. We back, man. The pack. Shout out to Tribe 216, True Speaks, and thanks for everybody out here showing love, man. Blessed be to the tribe. Stay alert, stay alive.